Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Conceive, believe, achieve. Shut the f*** up.
And new undisputed UFC Middleweight Champion of the world, Michael the Count Bisping.
This is Believe You Me on the Gas Digital Network.
And we're back. It's a Believe You Me podcast. It's your boy, Louis J. Gomez, Puerto Rican Rattlesnake, the Count, Michael Bisping. I mean, look, I don't hate the shirt, but it is different. It is shocking when I first saw it. When you first came on camera, I was like, whoa, are you on vacation? Where are you? But this is a new thing. You're taking some chances here.
I'm not taking any chances. This is a very stylish shirt. I've worn it on multiple occasions, maybe not on the podcast. I get a lot of compliments when I wear it. It's very, very hot here. We're going through what's known as a heat wave, Lewis, okay? Sorry if I'm not walking around with a big double thick jacket on and tight jeans. I got my shorts on. I got my nice shirt on. It's a beautiful day. When this is done, I got to do some research, got a couple of calls. I'm going to lie by the pool. I'm going to have a barbecue. You know what I mean? So I thought to dress appropriately.
What is it? Well, how does that shirt? Why is that shirt more appropriate for hot weather? I don't understand.
Well, it's got moisture wicking technology.
No, does it?
no. It's just nice and loose and airy. You know what I mean? It's
light colored, so it
light colored.
It reflects
the sun. Exactly. It's nice and airy, and still, you know, we're on vacation right about now.
I'm not used to seeing you in light colors. Usually, you're wearing. Hi, Brian.
We got a surprise early visitor.
Oh, who we got? Oh, Paul Craig.
How you doing, man?
How you doing, mate? You all right, pal? How are you?
I am not too bad, man. I'm not too bid. You know, it's been a good day in the office for me at the weekend.
You've jumped on an hour early, Paul.
Oh, have I?
I don't know. No. Maybe I messed up. But
I thought it was the MMA god saying, "Stop talking about Bisping's shirt."
Yeah, no, exactly. We just started a shitty conversation. I'm glad you jumped in because all I was doing was getting ridiculed off Lewis. So fuck it. The only issue is, Paul, is that we have Tyron Woodley at the top of the hour. And not that he's more important or anything like that. Schedules. But we got 32 minutes. Let's fucking shoot the shit, Paul.
Let's go for it, man. Let's go for it.
Well, listen, first of all, welcome to the show. And everybody, welcome Paul Craig to the show, fresh off a stunning victory on Saturday night. And allow me to introduce you to Louis J. Gomez.
What's going on, Paul? How are you, my friend? Very excited to have you on the show. And yeah, Bisping was doing a pretty killer impression of you all last week. So I would like your opinion on Bisping's impression of you, because in my opinion, it was a little bit disrespectful to the Scottish people.
No. Listen, what do you think of it? What do you think, Paul?
I think it was spot on, mate.
Well, thank you very much. See, Lewis, go fuck yourself. Paul, what do you think of a man that corrects people? His name is Luis Gomez, but he pretends it has to be Louis J. Gomez, and he corrects everybody. I mean, what does that tell you about this man? I mean, it shouts insecurity to me.
It does. You know, what it sparks is that he wants to be the alpha. And there can't be two alphas in the podcast. Or somebody has to be a beta.
There definitely isn't, Paul. Don't worry about that. I dropped him many times last week. Anyway, enough of that. How are you, mate? Listen, tremendous victory last week. I mean, talk me through your words, because I mean, you went out there, you destroyed the guy's arm. You guys were talking shit before the fight. It delivered like crazy. You snapped the man's arm, and then you're dancing in nightclubs afterwards. It was fucking awesome. It was beautiful. It's great to see. That's what we love about mixed martial arts. But the floor is yours, Paul, please.
Yep. So as you're saying about dancing in a nightclub, it's one of the things about being British. Once we've had our beef, which was that whole week leading into that fight, it was then put to bed once we had basically worked out who was the best in that at that moment, and it turned out to be me. The submission was so tight, and I was going for all these different submissions, like going for the omoplata to the armbar to the triangle. There was no way for him to go, and I felt that I was just that bit stronger than him, that bit more physical, and my jiu-jitsu showed on the night. So it was like a fairy tale ending, if you will, with regards to putting that to bed, because it was 6 months of long, hard work, 3 a day, dealing with a southpaw opponent, and then he decides to come out and switch into orthodox, which I was like, what fuck, this isn't what we deal with. This isn't what we deal with.
That's so annoying. That's so annoying because for those people that most people aren't professional fighters, when you're preparing for a southpaw fighter and you're not used to it, there's a lot of work goes into that. And it's just kind of like rewiring the brain to a certain degree. And then he comes out and he goes orthodox. I mean, that's just hilarious.
And he told us the reason. He said he said, we've watched all your fights. You normally come out with a low kick. And he was anticipating that. And he was anticipating switching to his orthodox stance so that he could fling an overhand right at me. And we didn't take the bait because that's what he was hoping for. And then when it went to the ground, because I'd got to speak to his team. His whole team are really, really nice guys. That's what I love about the sport of MMA. When you meet somebody and you have that much bad blood over 6 months, and it was him taking to the internet, writing loads of shit, 6 months of that, and then when you get to meet the guy, and the guy turns out to be like a genuinely really nice guy, and his team were lovely, and his team, jiu-jitsu coaches, both of them black belts, were telling me, we worked that position so many times. But you can work the same position with guys who are very, very similar build to me, but you're not going to get that Paul Craig on fight night jiu-jitsu style.
Before we get into all that, Paul, you're saying the nicest guy and all the rest of it, but there was a bit of bad blood. It was a little feisty heading into that one. What actually happened? Because I didn't actually see where it all stemmed from.
So what it happened, going back to when I said that he pulled out from the fight, in my opinion, if you don't turn up for a scheduled bout, we signed the contract. We signed it way back in the middle of December for March. And if you don't sign a contract, if you sign a contract and don't turn up, in my opinion, that's a pull-out. Regardless if you're injured through personal circumstances, whatever it is, the fight never happened. So it was a pull-out in my eyes, and it was from Jamahal. He took that as a personal attack on him, and it was never ever meant like that. It was just to tell my fans, listen, he's pulled out through COVID, no fault of his own, and he took that as a personal attack. So then he started taking to Instagram, all the social media platforms, and what was happening is people were engaging with him. I don't have many fans, but the fans I do have are loyal. And you know what the UK guys are like, and the Scottish guys, they're loyal to their own, and they started attacking him, and then he was getting some racial abuse as well, which like none of us condone, and I don't think there's anybody out there who condones that. So he felt this was a personal attack from my fans, and ended it's a racist piece of shit. It's no fan of mine. So I felt bad after I'd heard this because I had no knowledge of this happening behind scenes. So I apologised to him, and I apologised to him and his family because it became personal. In our sport, I know it's entertainment, but there shouldn't be that personal element. It should be who's the best on the night.
Yeah. I mean, that's very interesting because, the fans end up sort of being a reflection of you, and you can't control what all the fans are saying. You want them to support you. Did you, when it was sort of going back and forth, did you find yourself taking anything that he was saying personally? Were you personally getting yourself angry?
No, I don't take anything personal. I've said this before. It's a business, isn't it? We're in an entertainment business, and at the end of the time we've done our full camp, we need to go in and do the fight business. So I take him just as he is. There was no bad blood between me leading into the fight, or even when he came up to me and started getting a bit mouthy with me. There was no bad blood at that point. I love getting fired up at the weigh-ins, and the fact that he was fueling it even more just made it that wee bit sweeter when I got right into his face and Dana White was trying to manhandle the two of us. I was speaking to him after it, and he said one of the bouncers picked him up like he was a wee boy. Like, he picked him up, and he's like, "Put me the fuck down, man." So
yeah. No, I've been there myself. I've been there with Dana pulling me back or security. I'm like, fucking asshole, you're making me look stupid here. I'm not going to attack him. I'm just playing the game. I'm going to get in his face. I'm going to talk a little shit. I'm going to sell the fight. I'm not going to hit him. But you, the promoter, restraining me is not making me look good. It's a shame what your fans did there. Listen, I'm sure it's coming from a good place, but that's fucking disgusting.
And I'm sure it's like 3 people, by the way. It's not like a reflection of the entire fan base.
Minority, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a few
they're trying to support you, but it's just such an ignorant, stupid thing to do in this day and age. Anyone that has that kind of mindset, they're a fucking idiot. Anyway, let's get into the fight. So, obviously everyone knows you're a jiu-jitsu specialist, Paul, and you were trying to take him down, then you pulled guard. And when I saw you pulled guard, I was like, oh shit, I'm not so sure that was the smartest thing to do. You know, in MMA, you want to have top position, but obviously you pulled that armbar out the bag pretty quick. Did you switch to the triangle before it broke, right?
Yep.
And did you feel it snap?
I switched in for the position, and then as I was cranking down on that, and then his arm snapped. He snapped just before I done it, and then I sort of motioned to the referee, like, his arms went, and the referee done nothing. He didn't step in. He didn't give me any sign that he'd seen this. So
it was gross.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't do any more damage to his arm. So I locked up that triangle as tight as I possibly could, and then I just started trying to finish the fight, not putting in massively heavy shots because he's an injured opponent, and not that I'm like this really nice guy that decides like you win, you live, or you die. That's not what it was. To be over. So I was dropping these elbows, dropping these punches, and just trying to finish that fight because the fight was over. And it should have been either a submission, TKO, whatever the referee decided. To find out that he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu himself and seen the positions, and he must be experienced in the positions, and he's reffed countless fights, not to notice when somebody's arm has actually dislocated is it's wild for me to think. So rather than cutting this guy's face up or doing massive amounts of damage, I just looked to get that stopped as quickly as possible.
Well, that's very decent of you. I'm not sure I would have done the same thing, but still.
Bisping would have torn his arm off his body.
Yeah, you're right. Listen, but when it went, you know, talk me through that feeling, because when you felt that arm going, you know, obviously it only bends one way. What did you think? You thought, this is done, this fight's a wrap? Yep.
So as you're more than aware that the arm runs on these runners. So what had happened was it had come right out of its placement, and it was just the ligaments and tendons were holding it together. So it was just like a bit of jelly. There was no muscle in it to actually pull it tight. And that's what he was looking to do. He was trying to get his arm across to grab his arm so he could try and stack me. But there was no muscle there for this to happen. And as soon as I felt it go, it's one of these sweet moments where you're like, yeah, I've done that to him. In that moment. And then when you watch it back, and you're like, oh, I can't believe I've done that to that guy. That's that guy. He's going to be out for like 6 weeks. And he's going to have to do rehabilitation. And this is the stuff that goes through my head because we're all fighters. We're all in the same business. But it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
Of course it is. And I'm sure for you, I mean, I'm looking at your record here. Out of 15 wins, 13 submissions. So everyone knows what you're going to do. You know, everyone knows the type of fight you like to bring. Okay, of course, that doesn't mean you can stand there and beat the shit out of Shogun like you did that time. I mean, that was unreal. That surprised everybody. But for you to get the submission like that and okay, I'm sure you take no pleasure from hurting him going forward, but to get the submission like that, for it to be as gruesome as it was and to really put a punctuation on that fight, I'm assuming you'd rather have that than a knockout.
Yep, definitely. You know, I'm a submission guy. That plays into my whole narrative of being a submission guy. And then to go out on a main card, a numbered event, and get a submission the way I did, after having like quite a rough road to get to where I am, you know, I've been standing outside that top 15 for a long time, fighting the top up-and-coming guys. The amount of guys I've fought, the UFC through me, who are unbeaten fighters, is surely I must have some sort of record for the most unbeaten fighters in the UFC. So I'm just glad to get like an opponent who the UFC deemed him to be the next up-and-coming guy, which is a bonus for me.
Yeah,
because I do believe he's going to go in and do some damage because he's so relaxed and he's got, and we've seen the way he pieced up OSP. So
he's slick. He's really, really slick on the feet. I was like, I knew it was a tough fight for you. You know, he's an opponent that needs to be respected. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, keep going. You're absolutely right. He is. You have to respect his whole game, but he was never ever tested on the ground, and. Let's be honest, everybody that makes it to the UFC has a great knowledge of jiu-jitsu, or they wouldn't be in the UFC. It's gone to the Wild West days where you could only get by with just doing wrestling or striking or grappling. They days are gone. You need to have a ground for all of it. So we didn't know actually how good his jiu-jitsu was going to be. he said that he trains with black belts, and he says he was working hard, and he's never ever been tested, and so we never knew. So we never knew if we went to the ground that he was just going to pass his guard and absolutely tee off on us. But I'm pretty confident in my jiu-jitsu, and I'm pretty confident on my back position to be able to fire up submissions. I've shown it in like my countless fights in the UFC where I'm firing up triangles and I'm firing up arm bars and I'm getting victories with them.
Do you enjoy striking?
I do. I'm good at it. I genuinely am good at striking. I have something.
You're never going to convince us, Paul. He's like, no, listen, I'm serious. I'm really good. I'm like, we know.
Like MD that hears me hitting pads or watches me hitting pads, I would give them a shock, and there would be massive amounts of fear in my striking. But it's one of these things, if you try to steer into what's not your bag, there's a good chance then you're going to make mistakes. Now, I'm not a prolific striker. I'm very good, and I can hold myself with boxers, kickboxers, MMA guys, heavy hitters. I can do all that. But what's the point of steering into something that's not your bread and butter? You want to steer into what makes you you. And for me, it's jiu-jitsu. And it took me a while to realise that I need to do that. I need to be the jiu-jitsu guy. I need to showcase this, and I need to make guys scared so they don't have high guards and they allow me to do my damage. And we've seen that in that first Shogun fight where he was so worried about the takedown that he allowed me to look like a half-decent striker.
I mean, right now you're on a 5-fight unbeaten streak. A lot of submissions in there as well. And if you look at your UFC career, at the start, there was a few losses here and there, but they were always to very, very tough opponents. I mean, when you look back, Jimmy Crute's doing great things. Khalil Roundtree's no slouch, But as I say, now you're on a 5-fight win streak. What do you think's changed? What do you think switched in your mind? Is it a confidence thing? Is it your ability that's now getting better, your well-rounded skills? What do you attribute your recent success to?
I think it's the whole package. As I've said to you before, when I joined the UFC, I was very, very green, and I was learning my craft in the actual octagon. It's hard to get ring time when you're beating all your opponents in the first round. So I didn't have the time. I didn't have like the 15 minutes that people are racking up in octagon time. I'm lucky if I had about 6 minutes before I got to the UFC. And then when I didn't have that ring time, it showed the lack of experience, and it showed my lack of knowledge, octagon control, all this kind of stuff. Just it was blatantly obvious for any proper MMA athlete. And then when I had my first loss, you have that sort of you doubt everything about your ability. You doubt if you're able to hang with these guys. You doubt if you should be in the UFC. And it took me a long time to actually register that no, I'm a UFC fighter. I worked hard to get here. There's not a lot of us Scots there, and I'm representing. So either quit the UFC or get your thumb out your ass and work hard. And I started doing that. Started improving conditioning. Started putting more time into striking, and still do as much jiu-jitsu as I possibly can, because that's my love for the sport is jiu-jitsu. But that's the cherry on top is the jiu-jitsu. You need to build the cake so much better.
Yeah. No, just hearing you speak there, I mean, I was in a similar place. When I first got to the UFC, I remember when I fought Rashad Evans, I was in there and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, here I am, a main event, I'm fighting Rashad Evans. And I didn't really fight. You know what I mean? I was happy to be there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And at the end, it was a split decision, and I was happy with that. And afterwards, I was like, "What the fuck? I shouldn't be happy." You know what I mean? But it took me, even though I was doing well, and I was always brash, and I was always talked a lot of shit. Deep down inside, I still didn't really feel I belonged. But then eventually, after a while, it's like, okay, it's all well and good. I'm in the UFC, I'm making some money, but do I want to be a champion, or do I just want to be a guy that makes up the numbers and had a few fights and all the rest of it? So it took a while for that to click in my own mind.
It's a switch, isn't it? It's a switch.
It is.
And nobody can turn it on for you. The only person that can do it is you. And it's about that experience. And I think I'm at the point where that switch has been turned on, and I'm ready. I want to be a contender.
Was that your first art, jiu-jitsu? Is that what you started in?
Yep. I've only been in the sport for about 10 years. I've actually been a MMA athlete. Prior to that, there was no sports at all that I'd done. There was no judo. There was no jiu-jitsu, no boxing, none of that kind of stuff. So it was, as soon as I walked into that gym, mid-20s, started doing jiu-jitsu, which for a long time I was calling UFC chokes because I didn't know what it was called. Or what you do? I do the UFC chokes because I was no idea. At this time, I had no idea what the UFC was either.
Oh wow!
Were you? Because you seem like a very nice guy. Were you like Bisping? Were you getting into trouble? Lots of street fights? Tough kid?
No, I was the opposite. I was the guy that was building Legos. I was the guy that was colouring in books. You know, like, oh, I can colour in. No, I was a nice guy. You know, I'm not a tough guy. It's something I'm not. Just a family guy, just a guy that works hard, and just a guy that loves my job.
How many kids you got, Paul? 2,
both girls, and one of them's got a wee boyfriend.
Oh, it's tough. How old is she? How old is she?
She's 14, so, one of the best feelings in the world. She got to go into school on Monday morning, and she got to be pretty confident in her dad, because there's times where kids can be horrible. And the last time
they're horrible.
They get 14 to be like, oh, your dad get knocked out. That's the last thing I want. So for her to go into school on Monday morning and be like, my dad snapped somebody's arm. My dad's a bit of a badass.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing.
Yeah, no, my daughter, I don't want to say too much, but she just went through like a breakup, you know, and this fucking kid, I wanted to fucking kick his ass. But you can't, obviously. And everyone's like, is he not scared of you? I'm like, what do you mean? No. What am I going to do? Beat up a kid? No, I've got to sit here. I give him some advice and I try and talk to him and, you know, steer him correctly. But yeah, I hope we don't go through this. One of the most painful things you can do is sit in bed at night and hear your daughter crying herself to sleep in the other bloody room. Oh, God, nothing makes you more angry, mate.
Over a wee guy that she's probably going to forget within the next couple of months. I
hope so. No offense to you little fuck.
We're coming for you, bro.
So. Hey, listen, I saw you got your black belt as well awarded to you. Well done.
I did. So I've been training, as I said, jiu-jitsu for about, I think it's been about 10 years. It's round about that time. I worked hard right at the start, had competed all over the UK because that was my first love, and I was competing against high-level guys, and that's all I wanted to do until I was introduced to MMA. And then when I found MMA, I was the same. I got obsessed. So hopefully the next belt I'm going to get will be gold. Someone's coming.
Lewis, were you going to say something then?
No, good, please.
Oh, no. So in October, Lewis and I will be in Glasgow. I'm doing a little tour of the UK. I don't know if you saw it. So Lewis is coming up, and I'll send some tickets your way, so I hope you can join us. I think it's like October 9th, 10th, whatever, one of those days. Lewis has never been to the UK, and he's certainly never been to Scotland, right? So first time in Scotland for a Yank. What does he do? What is he going to check out? You know, give him the lowdown, what he's going to do.
So the first time, if you're going to Glasgow, there's only one thing you can do. You find yourself in a pub and you find yourself with a glass full of whiskey, just necking it. And then, see, for the next 3 days, you don't know what happens.
Yeah, who knows?
But, like, we've got lots of castles. We've got proper castles, we've got proper history. Not that Americans don't have proper history. I mean, you were messing about and dirt and that, shooting each other, whereas we were fighting with swords and shields, axes.
Right.
We're taking souls.
Yes! Continue, Paul.
We've got Edinburgh Castle, Stirling Castle, Wallace Monument, loads of proper history.
So we're gonna get drunk and we're gonna go castle hopping.
Let's go castle hopping as we're pissed, drinking whiskey.
I love it.
Fortunately, Glasgow is the last stop of the tour, so we'll stick around for a couple of days and get shit-faced, because otherwise it's city to city to city, and everyone's like DMing me, oh, I'll see you in Birmingham, we'll have a few beers afterwards. I'm like, we can't, because I've got to get on the road.
A wee bit switched on, don't you?
Yeah, I've got to be switched on, because it's out of my comfort zone. But Lewis, what are your like preconceived notions of Scotland? I would love to hear what he thinks he's gonna encounter.
It's all the England, Scotland, Ireland. It's all the same shit. It's a bunch of cobblestone roads, dark, dreary days, lots of rainy clouds. Everything's made of cobblestone. The buildings, the ground. There's lots of unattractive women. No offense. No offense.
Some beautiful redheads, man.
They all got red hair and freckles.
Love a good redhead.
Yeah, but fiery.
Yeah.
So, with regards to the old cobblestones and all that kind of stuff, it's grey, it's streak. There's loads of rain. Bring your hat, bring your scarf, because you never know what the weather's going to be like in Scotland. But Glasgow was, in the same year, the knife crime of Europe. So Glasgow was the knife crime capital of Europe, and in the same year, it was the friendliest city. That's the thing. We'll stab you, but we're happy, guys, and we're so friendly.
We'll stab you, but we'll tell you a joke while we're doing it.
We're friendly, but knife crime capital, and it was the most
That's not a sales feature. Saying a city has the highest knife crime in Europe is not what you tell would-be tourists. You keep that on the down low.
Especially a Puerto Rican.
I like Lewis.
So you experience it, not the knife crime, just how friendly the nation of the UK is. We are a friendly bunch. I mean, we like to take shit.
I will say this. Yes, it does rain a lot and it is very dreary. But on the rare occasion we do get a sunny day, most beautiful place on earth. It really, when the sun comes out, because everyone loves it so much. I mean, you guys are getting good weather up there right now. It's like 23 degrees Celsius, right?
Yep, it's not compared to Arizona. Like, I literally come off the plane shivering because you're coming from like 40-degree heat to like 19, and it's like grey. So I've missed the heat, but I love Scotland. It's beautiful.
Paul, what's your two-part question? What's your least and favorite part of the United States? Least and favorite part of the United States.
I like how you do everything big. That's my favorite part of it. No, you don't just get like a cup of juice. You get like a fucking vat. It comes in like pints, and like, can I have a can of juice? No, what you can get is you can get a cylinder filled up to the brim with juice. I love all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And then as soon as you have 2 sips, they fill the fucker right back up.
I know, and they're just like, hey, we've got you, man. We've got you.
Which is great, by the way. That's not an insult. In England, I hate it. Every time you get a cup of tea or a coffee in a cafe or something, you drink the cup of tea or the coffee, and then it's another £5 or £4, whatever, to get a refill. In America, they just keep fucking topping it up. I love it.
They're like, let's just overfeed them. My least favorite part is how everything's just so far apart. You can't go like, oh, I'm just going to jump to the next city. You can jump to the next city, but you're a day's drive. So everything's just so far apart. Whereas I can go from Glasgow to Edinburgh in like an hour, or I can drive down to Manchester in like a couple of hours. Whereas in the States, you want to go anywhere, you're having a good old hoof.
Yeah. How's the UFC run for you, Paul? Is it living up to your expectations? Of course, it's a crazy ride and it's something very unusual. In fact, what was your plan? I mean, I don't know how many years you've been in the UFC now. It's probably a few, 4. Right? Yeah, 4 years. What was your plan before, finding your way to the UFC?
It was just teaching. I was going to be a teacher the rest of my life. I was going to wake up every Monday morning, join my job, clock off every Friday, Saturday and Sunday, have a few beers. That was going to be my life until I found UFC, and it all changed. And then it was all about getting up in that Monday morning and doing the 5K run or doing the 10K run and working hard. And now my attitude's changed. And for a long time, as you said, it was just about being in the UFC. And now it's a contender. Now I want to be something. I want more than just being Paul Craig, the gatekeeper. I want more than that.
And so what do you see? How do you see the path? Like, how do you see the next year of your career going?
Yeah, so I reckon the UFC maybe throw me somebody half decent this time. Maybe like an Ozdemir or a Krylov, someone like that. That's who I'm thinking of. A top 10 opponent. I don't want to go back out the top 15 and start fighting guys out with there again. I don't want to fight anybody in the top 15 because it's pretty much me, Jimmy Crute, Jamahal Hill. Is it Misha Surkinov? I want somebody to actually test me. I want to be in the mix. I want to get that fight that's going to prepare me to the next one, and I believe it's going to be one of these top 10 opponents. The only person I don't really want to waste my time with is Johnny Walker because he's always pulling out. I'm not interested in having somebody that I trained 6 months for and then he's pulled out and then it's a waste of a camp and then I have to fight somebody else. I want to progress. I don't just want to stay there. So within the next year, get that top 10 and then from that, then top 5, ultimately taking the belt off Glover Teixeira.
Well, I was just going to say, what do you think about the light heavyweight champ right now? Obviously, that's Jan Blachowicz, and he's fighting Glover. From what you just said, I'm assuming you think Glover's going to win that fight?
Yeah, I love the story of Glover. He's been in the mix for a long time. He's never tasted gold, and I think it's just his time.
And he's a warrior as well.
He is. He's tough, and I like his jiu-jitsu, and I think it'd be a really good matchup. And then I'm not bad against Brazilians. My record's against Brazilians pretty good. So I think I've fought 3 Brazilians and I've beat all 3 of them. So I'm looking forward to taking that belt off Glover.
See, maybe it is about race, to be honest.
What's that?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
I said maybe it is about race. See?
I don't get it.
Because I'm hating on the Brazilians?
You're hating on the Brazilians, yeah.
No, man, I love all God's creatures. It's just business, isn't it? But I've got good records against them. I've got good records against America.
they're great. They just can't fight you. So
let's finish on this because we've got a few more minutes before Woodley jumps on. Give Lewis and all of our listeners what's some Scottish slang that he will have no idea what means. What it means.
And I'll try to guess what it means.
Yeah, you try and guess it. Yeah, this will be fun.
So this, you're putting me in a bit of spot there. But
I know. I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah,
like,
just
one of
you.
the words Scottish people love is the C word, the big four. Like, we love to use that word. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Oh,
we say it all the time on here. Don't worry about it.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't want to offend anybody because it's quite one of the words that just cut through there when you see it, cunt, and it just fucking everything goes silent. So, but in Scotland, we use cunt as a good word. So, like, you could be a cunt or you can be a good cunt.
Yeah.
And one's bad and one's no. One's getting a fight, one's not getting a fight.
But I always say this in the UK, it depends on how you say it. You say cunt, you're a cunt, you're a cunt. You're a cunt, that's okay. But if you say cunt and you pronounce the T, it's like, you cunt. It's like, whoa. What you fucking call me? Is that, you cunt, how you doing, mate? Like, how you doing, pal? But if you say cunt, I'm like, whoa, what the fuck you say, pal? Gonna go full beg bit.
You're getting a bit.
In the States, women get upset about cunt. Here, it's like the big one, like for women.
You don't say it out here. You can't. It's bad. I know someone that got fired from the job because they said it recently. You can't do it.
That day, I'm just dropping the C-bomb. So that's why I was like, I don't really want to say it because. But
what else? What else have we got? Good old Scottish words. Come on.
So
Harrington, our producer, asked this, which is the nerdiest question ever. Maybe it's not. Maybe I just need to read some books. He says, "Who's the better Scottish comic book writer, Grant Morrison or Alan Moore?"
None of the two of them. It's Mark Miller, Coatbridge guy.
What language are you guys speaking right now?
Because we're geeks. We're geeks.
Yeah.
But no, it's Mark Miller. He's former Coatbridge. Very, very good. He was written like stuff like Kick-Ass, does loads of Batman.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay.
So he's a better guy.
All right, give us a surprising fact about you that nobody would know.
I used to be a bin man.
You know what a bin man is? A garbage man, Lewis.
Trash man. Trash man.
Honest hard work.
It was horrible. Constantly wet hands. Smelly bins.
Is that your worst job?
Not the worst, because as a teenager, I had to join the real world. At the age of 19, I had my daughter. So you don't think about what's your worst job. You just think about I need to get money to support the family.
That's it. Because like I would do anything when I was younger. Sounds like we got a lot in common. You know what I mean? I had kids young as well. I left school at 16. You know, and what are you going to do? It's shitty dead end jobs. You know what I mean? But I wasn't bothered at the time as long as I had a job and I could earn a few quid and support my family. But
then you meet some of the nicest guys you've ever met in your life. Just hard-working guys, but you also meet the guys that hate their life and hate everything about it and just bitch and moan and are just so depressed about their choices in life. And there's only one person that can change that. And it's easy for us to say, you know what?
It is.
We're living a good life, aren't we? But it's easy for us to say, you just need to change your attitude and all will be well. You know, just run 10K a day and fucking life will be good.
No, it is tough. Well, listen, Paul, talking of being tough, we're going to have to kick you off now, mate, because we've got Tyron Woodley. And by the way, it just occurred to me, you came on at exactly the right time. I just did my math wrong with the time difference. So apologies.
I'm the same when it comes to time. I was like, right, 6:30. Is that AM? Well, I'm up at 6:30 anyway. I'll just hang about and see if it's there. But
Well, we appreciate it, Paul. Let's do this again before your next fight. We'd love to have you back on, mate. And always great talking to you. Really happy to see all the progress and success you're having in the UFC. Congrats again on the win at the weekend. I can't wait for the next one, buddy.
Thank you very much, man, for having us. No. It's always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
All the best, Paul. Really mean that, mate. Good luck.
Thank you, Paul, very much. Good luck with everything, man. Very excited to watch you grow.
See you later, guys.
Take care, mate. Thank you.
He's the man.
There he is. Great guy.
Good guy.
Great guy. What a fucking great guy. Do you know what I mean? Just level-headed, sound. He's got a sense of humor, but he's a nice guy. He's a hell of a fucking fighter in there. He's ripping people's arms off, but being nice about it. Didn't want to elbow him in the face.
I always like, I like when the story is that they weren't like tough guys or like guys who got into a lot of street fights or anything. Because it's kind of crazy to me that like anyone would go down the path of becoming a cage fighter if they didn't sort of like, I don't want to say like experience violence, but if they didn't sort of like, if they weren't desensitized to it and sort of afraid by it. Because I think most people that try to get into something like this, they think it's absolutely crazy. When I tell my friends that I'm like training or sparring, they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The idea of somebody punching them in the face, it's the opposite of what they would choose to do with their day.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's in 2021. Imagine what it was like in 2002 when you said you were going to do this. They're like, what are you talking about? So listen, once again, thanks to Paul Craig. And yeah, it was my mess up with the time. I'm really excited to see what he's going to do next. Okay, today's episode is brought to you by Sheath Underwear. Sheath Underwear offers extremely comfortable underwear that is especially useful in these hot summer months. Listen, we've all been there. Boxers that bunch up, they get sweaty, they leave your man parts uncomfortable and sticky. Certainly now, I don't know about New York, but out here in California, it's like 100 degrees every day. Crazy, crazy heat wave. But fortunately, no Betty Swallocks for the Bisping. I've got my Sheath underwear on. They've got moisture wicking technology, keeping me nice and cool. They're extremely comfortable. If I was to expose myself and run around, people would not call the police. They would say, wow, look at the stylish designs of that underwear, Lewis.
That's how good they are. You could honestly, you can go into, a school zone. You can go
Ralph's.
into an old folks home. You can go into Ralph's, the supermarket. You can go to Ralph's, my business partners. You can go anywhere and show your underwear.
I would have picked up my car in my underpants and no one batted an eyelid. They're like, you're a smart guy.
They really are incredible. And look, I think I have maybe 3 pair of underwear that are not Sheath anymore. And I wear them there anytime it's laundry day. You know, it's laundry day.
Begrudgingly.
I'm not wearing my sheaths, and it's annoying. It is annoying when I have to put on other underwear that are not sheath. They have incredible styles. They feel great. And the thing that really makes them separate from everybody else is they have the dual pouch technology. So you separate your frank and your beans. They have pouches that you put them in, and it keeps everything separated and cool, and it looks great. You look like an underwear model every time you put on your underwear.
Don't know about that. I've seen Harrington in his sheets. That is a disclaimer. Edit that bit out. Brian, listen, at the end of the day, you're going to need to buy some underwear, okay? The underwear you're wearing right now, probably a little tatty, probably a little holy. Maybe got some, few marks on there. It's been through been through the ringer a few times, but they remain. You need some new underpants. So what you got to do is you got to go to sheathunderwear.com and then use the code BELIEVE20. You're going to get 20% off your first order. Support the show. Support Sheath. They support us. We appreciate you, the listeners. So one more time, go to sheathunderwear.com. BELIEVE20 is the code. You're going to get 20% off. Get ready for summer by getting your dick and your balls their own apartments. Okay. Where were we? We're waiting for Tyron Woodley. He did respond to my message this morning. He said, I said, talk to you shortly. He said, okay. So he'll no doubt be joining us in a minute. Harrington had a big suggestion. We'll just fill some time with this while we wait for Tyron. Had a big suggestion. I said, what should we talk about here? Harrington, the floor is yours. Go ahead. He's like, ooh, we've got to talk this. I thought it was sexist. I thought it was very shallow. I thought perhaps, maybe we should talk about it. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I mean, in that shirt, obviously. So Victoria's Secret is retiring the Angels, right? I remember that was a staple of the 2002s, 2003s, the Victoria's Secret fashion show. That's no longer a thing anymore. They've gotten rid of the Adriana Chechicks of the world and replaced them with, Megan Rapinoe and other people, who are the new brand ambassadors for Victoria's Secret.
These are the new Victoria's Secret Angels?
Well, the middle one is an old Victoria's Secret angel.
I'll tell you what, the one on the left, Victoria's Secret need to figure out their bra sizing because, you know what I mean? She's not covering up too well.
Yeah.
No,
I understand women come in all shapes and sizes. I get it. It's the new body positivity, blah, 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 blah movement. Fine. I'm not a good-looking, hot, in-shape dude. I'm not a model. I don't think that I don't care about being represented in a mall. I don't think that they should have my body shape on a fucking mannequin in a mall because I'm insecure. I should look at that mannequin and go, you know what? I need to do something better with my life.
Yeah, I will say this. So this morning I saw a news feature about it. And of course, you got the Victoria's Secret fashion shows and it showed like footage. I don't know where it's in New York or somewhere. And they're strutting down and they've got the big wings on. And there's some very, very attractive ladies, And then it cut to, and those pictures, they're nice, complimentary pictures. On the news, they showed, they didn't have makeup on or whatever. And there was definitely a change, shall we say, in terms of how you would rate them from 1 to 10. There was a change. Now, I'll say this. I think it's really smart. I think they're going to sell more underwear, because how many women out of the average person looks at those images of Victoria's Secret angels walking down a runway and thinks, oh, I'm going to buy that underwear. I'm going to look like that. Nobody, unless you're a supermodel, not many people look like that. This is actually probably a smart move. They'll probably sell more underwear.
Devil's advocate?
Go for it.
Devil's avocado. I think that those underwear being on those, those Victoria's Secret models, those angels that back in the day, like they were like 6 or 7 of the hottest chicks ever. The Brazilian chicks, Adriana Lima. There was that other chick. They were. Oh,
you even know their names. Wow.
Yeah. Ambrosia. What's her name? Alessandra Ambrosia. Doggy. These chicks, when they came out, they were crazy. They make the lingerie, but here, listen, they make the lingerie look more attractive. It looks great. So I think, no, I think people and guys are buying it for their chicks.
Yes.
The girls want their guys to buy it for them. I don't think throwing it on a body positive model or just some chick that doesn't look as good is going to do much in complementing the actual pieces.
I'll just say this. When I'm walking through the mall and I'm on my own and I'm going a bit of shopping, I like to see the old angels. I like to see them in there. I want to see big, big pictures of them. These are the ladies, strong women, excellent role models. God bless them. Good for them. But for me personally, I prefer the old lot. I do. I think the new lot will sell very well as well.
Now they're role models based off their body type. It's different.
They're role models. I saw something. Piers Morgan, he does he's a controversial guy that used to do the show in England, Good Morning Britain, and they would have these ladies on there, and they're plus size women, shall we say, and they would always talk about and they were feeling sexy and this and that, and then being large is beautiful, and God bless them, good for them. But he would come out and he would say, no, this is wrong. It's unhealthy. You are unhealthy. We shouldn't be putting that forward to children. You know what I mean? You are clearly overweight. A doctor would look at you and say you are clinically obese. You've maybe got internal problems. So yes, while I'm very happy for you that you're comfortable in your own skin, which you should be, I don't think it's necessarily a good image to portray that to the wider masses and certainly younger children. And I got to say, he's got a pretty good point there. Nothing against larger women, larger men or whatever, but it's not the picture of health.
Yeah, there's a difference between body positivity, right, and
bullshit
and bullying, right? So no, I think we all agree that it's fucked up to go and bully somebody because they don't, meet your standards of beauty. But you can't just arbitrarily change the line on what is considered healthy or beautiful just because people are sensitive to it. I think it's a smarter thing to educate people. I teach my son to eat healthy. I would never bully my son. I don't say, oh, you're if he wants to have extra snacks in a day, like I'm not like, I don't fat shame him or tell him he's being a pig, but I express
he's put weight on. I wasn't going to say anything. I was like, what are you feeding James, Lewis?
But you express to them that there's healthier options and you let them know that it's smarter to be healthier. And it's our job as parents, it's our jobs as a community to express that. And I think it's more responsible versus I think it's just a terrible thing to do to just say, oh, you know what, you're fat. That's okay. You're probably going to die a decade faster than you would normally. But because you're sensitive, because other people are sensitive, we're not going to give you good advice. I think it's really irresponsible.
No, exactly. And what about all these unemployed angels now? You know what I mean? What the fuck are they going to
I'll give them a job. Hell yeah.
I'm sure you
Fire Harrington, fire Brian, just have 2 Victoria's Secret angels here producing instead.
Let me just double check what time we said for Tyron Woodley.
What'd you say, buddy?
It's a much better show.
Oh, 100%.
I will sign off on that. As a producer, I can't get in the way of it.
I bet you that they do a better job than you, Harrington.
All right. Well, moving on from that was quite the epic conversation that Harrington thought it would be. I loved it. Yes, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday I had the pleasure of going up to Los Angeles and covering the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder 3. No, I wasn't covering it. What am I saying? I was supposed to interview Tyson Fury and interview Deontay Wilder. Went up there. I did interview Deontay Wilder. You can see that on the BT Sports. I did interview Tyson Fury. Fuck me, our pets' heads are falling off. Sorry. Interview Tyson Fury. You can see that on the BT Sport YouTube page. Getting a lot of positive reviews. So thank you. And Tyson was very, very great and gracious with his time and gave a great interview. I was a little not concerned, but me and him had a bit of a thing on Twitter years ago. We went back and forth and did a little bit of name calling.
Was it brought up at all?
No, it wasn't. No, I was like, oh, is he going to bring it up? Do you know what I mean? He claims his buddy knocked me out outside of a nightclub in Clitheroe or in Blackburn years ago when I lived in America, but whatever. But I thought he might bring it up. And even BT Sports said to bring it up as a little icebreaker, but it wasn't necessary. We had a great talk. But what I wanted to talk about was the press conference in itself. Obviously, this is a highly anticipated fight. The judge essentially forced this fight to happen. Fury was meant to have a massive payday fighting Anthony Joshua in one of the biggest fights ever. A judge forced it to happen. After the last fight, when Tyson knocked him out pretty quickly in 7 rounds, he came out with all kinds of excuses. He said there was things in the gloves. He fired his trainer for throwing in the towel. He blamed his ring suit, the costume he had on, walking to the suit, to the ring, all these type of things. So I was really interested for the press conference. I thought, oh, it's going to be interesting here. Here we go. They're going to go back and forth. Tyson Fury's always got a lot to say. He's a very charismatic man. And what does he do? He walks out late. I might fucking mind you. Very, very late.
How late?
Late. Oh, I'm talking 90 minutes, almost 2 hours late. We're all sitting around. I was very annoyed. Very annoyed.
Was he intoxicated?
He was not intoxicated, but you might have fucking thought so because he walked in with his headphones on and ignored everybody. He sat there on the thing with a massive pair of headphones on, just doing that, listening to music, apparently, or dancing to music, whilst a press conference surrounding his next fight is happening. Tyson Fury's talking, other people are talking, Bob Arum's talking. Even Deontay Wilder's trainer did some talking for Deontay Wilder, but he sat there dancing to music, right? I don't care how good that fucking music is. You're kind of interested in what's being said around you. I just thought it was an epic fail. I just thought that was a fail in terms of promoting that fight.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it's just because he doesn't have the interest in the fight.
He called for the fight. He got a judge.
He was. I'm sorry. So I was confused. I apologize. I thought it was the opposite.
No, it wasn't Fury. No, Fury was great. At one point, Fury even said, you know what? Seeing as Deontay refuses to talk, I'll play both sides. I'll be Deontay and I'll be Tyson Fury.
Right.
So he was great, but Deontay Wilder just sat there and said nothing. He's the guy that called for the fight. He pulled used the contract clause to make the rematch happen, and he was the guy that had all the excuses last time. This was his chance to A, to try and sell the fight, B, look confident, C, just assure all his fans and the support that he gets that he's going to turn up for this fight. I thought it was a fail.
Yeah, you thought he could have played it differently.
And then didn't give me an interview afterwards. That's what I was hanging around for. Hours. Got caught in the rush hour traffic. I'm just going to say, Deontay Wilder.
Shame.
You get the shame bell, bro.
Was it cool? All right, let's say if you separate yourself from it, right? And you weren't waiting an hour. You weren't waiting there for 2 hours. He wasn't disrespecting the Bisping name and the Bisping legacy. He wasn't wasting your time. Let's just say you could separate yourself from it. Was it kind of cool? Did he do sort of a thing where he's like just kind of being an asshole and sort of intriguing and
no,
we've seen that happen before, right?
Yeah, no, sure. You don't have to approach it. Every approach doesn't have to be the same. You can go and do whatever. And maybe you could argue, listen, he was just focused. He was dialed in. He's like, no, I'm not answering none of your fucking questions. But it's a press conference. You know what I mean? That's what you're there to do. Just say I'm not doing the press conference then. You know what I mean? And just tell Michael Bisping you don't have to hang around for hours. You don't have to get caught in the rush hour traffic on the way home. No, but I'll tell you what they did do, which was cool. When they squared up, they just stood there for 5 minutes, 40 seconds, which if you count 5 minutes, 40 seconds is a long time. Doesn't sound like long, but when guys are squaring up and nobody said a word, they just stood there.
It was just randomly that time, or was there some?
No, just randomly that time. And a few people tried to get involved near the end, and they wouldn't let them in. And then eventually Tyson's team came in. They were talking shit. There was a little bit of back talk from Wilder's team, but Fury and Wilder never actually said anything. They just stared into each other's eyes for 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Sounds romantic.
I was trying to film it on my phone, right? Because I thought at some point shit's going to pop off, but my arms were getting tired. That's how long it was. Harrington, I said, go to the Twitter on BYM, at BYM Pod on Twitter, and see what other people have got weird press conference moments. Did you find anything good from the Believers, Harrington?
Oh, they delivered. The number one thing that we've been sent is Crazy Horse backstage against Vanderlei. I don't know if you remember that story. There was like some missing footage. There was a backstage interaction between the two, and apparently they got into it. Crazy Horse.
Do we have that video? Because that was great. I remember. Crazy Horse does not give a fuck.
Charles Crazy Horse Bennett, who I think he gets offended now if you call him Crazy Horse. He's no longer Crazy Horse. He has another name now. He's Felony. George Bennett.
Well, he is crazy. I'm just going to say that. I commentated a UFC event at where it was, like Albuquerque or somewhere. I got back to the hotel. He was shit-faced. He was like trying to start like fights, but playing, but joking, but only messing around, but a little bit serious at the same time. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just trying to sit here, have a little beer, unwind after my work day. You know,
before you go to this 1 second, I've seen 2 videos. Pause this for a second. I've seen 2 videos with Crazy Horse now, where he's like just at somebody's house. Like he's just some dude's house. This is recently, very recently. And some guy says some racist shit to him. Some drunk guy says racist shit to him. So that he takes them down and then holds their mouth open like a puppet and makes them talk. And he's like, say I love the N-word. Say I love the N-word. He's my God. Hilarious. Can we get him on the show?
Yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay. We're gonna get thrown off YouTube. Simple as that. Harrington, what else did they come up with?
I was going to say he's headlining Masvidal's bare knuckle promotion later this month. So it does kind of
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get Bennett on. I'll reach out. Let's get him on. Oh my God, we will get kicked off of YouTube. Simple as that. What else we got, Harrington?
Another big one is when, I don't know if you remember, Tyson Fury showed up to the press conference, I believe it was against Klitschko, dressed as Batman, then had a man dressed as the Joker enter into the press conference. He leaped over the table and thwarted the villain mid-press conference.
No, that was awesome. I mean, you got to love Tyson Fury, to be honest. He is hilarious. And I think when he dressed up as Batman, that was a throwback. We have a show in England that's like, it's got cult status. It's fantastic. A comedy show. Only Fools and Horses and Del Boy and Rodney dressed up as Batman and Robin. I think it was a throwback to that, but that was good. And then anything else? Here we go. Look at that. I mean, come on. That's pretty funny. All right, let's hear from one of our sponsors, Ipvanish. We are welcoming them back to today's show. Ipvanish have been a long-time sponsor of ours, so it's great to have them back. So let me tell you about Ipvanish. If you care about the security of your online activity, the easiest way to protect yourself is with Ipvanish VPN. What is VPN? It is a virtual private network, and this one is rated 4.5 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot. Ipvanish provides encrypted connections for all your internet traffic, helping to prevent websites, Wi-Fi providers, and even hackers from intercepting your data. And that is very, very important in this day and age. Of course, you don't want people hacking into your bank account, hacking into your Instagram. You know, people are always trying to do that, trying to get into all your little, I don't know what clubs you're a member of, what things you're logged into on your internet. But these people, it's very, very simple in this day and age. With a virtual private network, it's way more difficult, if not impossible, Lewis.
It's funny you say that. You're like, oh, I don't know what you belong to and what clubs you belong to. Good. And I want to keep it that way. I don't want Michael Bisping to know. I don't want hackers to know. I don't want the government to know. I want everyone to get out of my business. And this is a great way to do it. There's also certain websites. If you ever noticed, Bisping, you've been traveling and you're like, wait, I can't get into certain websites. If you're using a VPN, a lot of the time you can.
Yeah. Also, if you ever go to Fight Island, there's no porn on Abu Dhabi. Okay. VPN, baby. Cruise away. Fucking browse away. Fill your boots. Go crazy. Ipvanish. If I'm telling you, that's not all they do. They do many, many other things. They will protect your bank data, your personal data, etc., etc. But that's just another little fringe benefit, Lewis.
Now, listen to me. You want to try this out. Anybody who knows about using the internet uses a VPN, and you can help keep your financial details, personal information, and online activity safe from threats with Ipvanish. And right now, you can get started with this limited time offer. Save 50% off monthly and annual subscriptions by going to ipvanish.com/believe. One more time, that's ipvanish.com/believe, all lowercase. Save 50% on monthly and annual subscriptions. Okay, where were we?
Tyron Woodley is here. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Man, I'm sorry I'm late, man. In LA, I guess everybody is trying to get a rental car. So I'm in this little vehicle that look like a bicep. It's the smallest crossover you ever seen. And,
hold on.
Yeah, I was going to bust forever, so I apologize for being late, but thank you for having me on, my man.
No, come on, Tyron, anytime, buddy. I just wasn't sure. But when you say it looks like a bicep, does it look like one of your biceps or one of Luis J. Gomez's biceps?
You know what's funny? Have you ever seen Sage Northcutt flex?
Yes.
He's like got a lot of muscle, but his bicep is kind of like, it looked like he's just like an egg sitting on top of his arm, right? That's what this car looks like. It's a Buick. It looked like a Nissan Versa mixed with, I don't know. It's like if somebody like shrunk a Range Rover like with a wand.
What is what kind of car is it? You got to give us a name.
Oh shit! I can give you the tour.
Oh, we're getting the tour. Let's go. We just killed the broadcast.
But, this is a nice little Buick crossover.
Oh, there we go.
I mean, needless to say, if I get into an accident, you know what I mean, we can just go ahead and eulogize me because this is a little bitty soda can. But yeah.
So what's going on, Tyron? How come you're in LA renting cars?
I'm in LA quite a bit, as you know, but this time around, I got some stuff I'm doing music-wise. Also some promo stuff for the fight coming up, and also some training. So I'm training with my coach, Eric Brown, from Wildcard Boxing, but he's training out of Buddy McGurk's gym in Burbank. So I'm going to do some training with him. And I just decided today, and I know you've done this many, many times, Mike, I'm just going to say fuck it and start sparring today. Like, I don't feel like the build up into the sparring and like getting in shape and getting your timing down and then, gradually ease into it. Today, I just feel like sparring. So I'm going to grab my sparring gear from my crib. And then, yeah.
Nice.
So, I mean, how seriously are you taking this? I heard you're saying.
Hold on, Lewis. Can I pause you before we get into that? Because I want to ask him something else first. And then not go back. So my apologies, Lewis. I didn't mean to cut you off. Obviously, we got the Jake Paul thing, and we want to ask you about that, Tyron. But I just want to go back a little bit, if you don't mind, and with respect. Obviously, you were a very, very dominant, one of the greatest of all time welterweight champions, and you had a great career in the UFC. As we know, that came to an end recently. Do you want to talk us through that, the events of how that came to pass and the emotions surrounding that, and how do you feel about the UFC now? And, obviously you've got a huge platform. You're a big star, and it's done great things for you. But, how was that, going through that?
It's not like a sad moment for me. It's like this, I feel like during my reign, I was at the top, but I was at the top from the seats I planted in the ground. Prior to me getting even in the octagon to fight Robbie Lawler for the first title fight, it was a hard work, the dedication, the 5 a.m. workouts, the focus, the getting rid of distractions and temptations and all those things. And that's what got me there. But when I got to that point, I do feel like it was a portion of my career where I fell out of love with the actual sport. There was so many politics. You couldn't just be the best person to fight the best people anymore. I never was able to get the super fights. I was never able to get to the point where I was given a chance in my mind to compete against guys like maybe yourself or guys like Georges St. Pierre, guys like, Nick or Nate Diaz. And, those people in my mind, like, you and those guys are like icons in the sport. You guys, when people hear your voice or they see you, they know who you are. They know that every time you went out to fight, win, lose, or draw, you was going to give 100%, and it was going to be a high-paced fight. And I just really respected those guys. So the people I wanted to compete against are always the guys I respected the most. Robbie Lawler, Carlos Condit, those are my favorite fighters. Carlos is still my favorite fighter to watch. So for me, I never really got that opportunity, but I'm not sweating. I'm not crying over it. My journey after my last fight in the UFC was going to be the same regardless. My plan was to, and it's kind of at that time of thinking about the plan, it was a bit emotional then because you think of how much your life has been revolved around being a UFC fighter. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to show people what real free agency looked like. And I wanted to be the first combat sport athlete that was a true free agent. Fight in Bellator, ONE FC, PFL, UFC. I can fight in the UFC. If you telling me if a fight comes up that makes sense for me to fight, they're not going to put me in a fight. Yeah, they can do that. So I never got cut from the UFC. I never disputed it. I never went to go defend myself. Because one thing when I was working at TMZ, they always showed me it's a 72-hour rule. Don't give it light. Don't give it attention. Don't dispute it. Don't agree to it. Don't qualify yourself. Just be who you are. So I had already had this in the plan. Obviously, I wanted to turn up and go out there and beat Luke Fiasco. I was going to say Luke Fiasco. That could be a new name for him.
That's a good one.
I was trying to be Luke in a way where, people that know the sport, the real hardcore people, they know how good he is, they know how strong he is, how durable he is. And I was just going out there to try to beat him in a way where people recognize I'm still that guy. And though I lost, that was the first time in my career that I actually can say I got caught. I didn't get caught against Usman. I didn't get caught against Kobe. I didn't get caught against Gilbert. I feel like my lifestyle prior to those fights had to be rectified. I had to pay up for the karma. I had to pay up for the seats I planted, and I can't just be living like a buffoon out here. You know what I mean? Turning up and just, you know, just training only for the fight, and then thinking that I was going to keep beating these young and hungry up and coming guys. I was those guys. I caught everybody by surprise. So for me, it wasn't emotional at all. It was a new chapter. It was a bigger chapter. The Jake Paul situation came forth, and it just was a blessing in disguise. And it wasn't because I was trying for that fight. I was there for bid. Those guys were trying to chase clout in the back. And what it ended up doing is now you got to fucking live up to it. Now you got to deal with the stuff you were talking, and it's put me in a position where maybe some of the cameras that could have been there in the past, maybe those cameras are now, but I don't sweat the technique. It's all about business. I don't get my feelings hurt and be like, oh no, where were you at back then? No, don't tell me try to give me money now. No, give me the money. But now bring me double. Bring me double for the trouble now.
And I heard you say that you're taking the fight very seriously, right? You're taking Jake very seriously.
Yeah. I'm taking the fight very seriously. Like, you know, I'm not saying Ben didn't, but like Ben in one training camp, how much can you evolve as a striker in one training camp? His whole recipe was to utilize defense, counter striking, or his whole striking setups was just to get close to put you on the ground and pound you, to submit you and to wear you out. It was never to try to knock you out. It was never to hit you with a right hand or left hook and put you to the canvas. It was never that. That was never Ben's play. So when he fought Ben, yeah, he beat a world-class fighter. You got to give him credit for that. He can box and he can punch. He got power. You can't take it away from the kid. And people want to watch him either get killed or they want to watch him win. For some reason, they want to watch him. So now you got an opportunity to prove yourself against somebody that's really a real seasoned striker and somebody that's really wanting to train to fight, because I want to box after this. It's not a one-time thing for me. I'm going to box him. I may box him twice, and I'm going to box somebody else. Maybe an old legend, maybe a De La Hoya or somebody. And then after that, I want to test my grounds against a current boxer. May get that ass whooped, fuck around with Canelo or somebody, but I want to do it because I think I can do it.
Did you, in retrospect now, because obviously you were getting your boys back leading up to the fight, you and Ben, obviously good friends, but did you think Ben was going to be able to win that fight, honestly, at this point?
Yeah,
now?
I just didn't think the kid had been in. He had some good performances. All his fights were very short. I knew he didn't have the experience against my. If I was rolling the dice, my dice was rolling against Ben's experience against high-level strikers. Robbie Lawler nearly fucking murdered Ben, but Ben found a way to pull himself together and grab around his neck. So in my mind, just him striking at Rufus Sport Camp, going against the top strikers, and then fighting against the top strikers, I thought his defense against someone that, in my mind, hadn't done enough yet in any sport to be called a top striker. I thought he would be able to, wear him down, defend, get close, clinch. And then, in the later rounds, when the guys just recognize this is a real fight, I thought Ben would be able to gas him and maybe TKO him. But I didn't do the full training camp with Ben. I only was there for the fight week. That's when he wanted me to be there. I asked him if he needed me earlier. I wasn't on a strategy. And I'm not saying me being in there would have helped it. He got hit with a punch, and the punch came right over his hand. And what am I going to do to stop it? I didn't even see it. I was trying to get adjusted in the chair. I was behind the damn banister, and before I knew it, everybody was yelling. I'm like, oh, what the fuck happened? Oh, my dog down. Oh, shit.
Obviously, we know how this fight came apart. You were there when they were getting the hands wraps and stuff. There was a little bit of shit talk back and forth. I'm sure that definitely helps. There's been a lot of talk of this is the biggest payday of your career. I don't expect you to go into numbers, but can you confirm that? And what are we talking? If I was to say the number $1 million, are we going higher or are we going lower?
I like you, Bisping. You're one of my favorite people to work with on the desk, and I like where your mind's at. I'm gonna get paid this time.
Nice.
But at the end of the day, I got paid in the UFC too. Like you know how it is. Like some pay-per-views are the one, some are not. I had a pay-per-view with Wonder Boy, and we did 300,000 buys. It wasn't a lot. And I had a UFC 205, and I had 2 John Jones cards out following as well, and I've made money before in my career, so This is not my first time making money. So that goes out to all the little girls in my DM. Oh, we need the link. No, we don't need the link because I ain't new money. That's what you do to somebody that's new money. I'm not new money. Don't come and try to now we need to do music. Or now I got this and we got a link. And I got so many new ex-best friends.
Yeah, I'm sure, man.
Out of the woodwork, and so many people that have had my phone number for 10 years plus, and all the time they want to use it. So I'm very, very, very wise to the devices, but I'm making good money for this fight. I'm gonna make more money the next time around, and then hopefully I put myself like in a position where this is my bar now. Like I won't. What it did was just raise my money up, because I'll never fight for less. Like that's how we are as fighters. We got to hold on to our ground, because in MMA we fight for a person, and we get a win bonus at the end. In boxing, you get a full-fledged. This is what I train for. We never train, Mike, to think we're gonna lose.
Never.
We train, and when we negotiate those numbers, yeah, we kind of a little bit cocky when we do it, because I'm fucking winning. So if you tell me you can give me 500K, I think I'm walking away with $1 million. And if you lose, at the second he raised the other person's hand, that's when it sinks in. Oh shit, I lost. I left some money in the fucking cage. Oh my God, he's moving forward. Where am I at? Am I in the same place I go drop down? That's the anxiety we get in defeat, especially when you train your butt off. So like for me, I feel like that was in my control. That was in my power for the 3 fights I lost. The looking fights, I can really just say at the same time I was throwing a punch, he came inside. He didn't even look. He just threw it. And now looking back, you got to stick to what you know. I was throwing double jab, saw his legs getting wobbly, and I said, all right, fucking starch his ass. And I heard his corner like, oh, well, here you go. Watch out for the overhand right here, overhand. I'm like, motherfucker, I've been training this other uppercut on your ass too. Boom.
So let me ask you this, Tyron. I wasn't going to mention your last run again in the UFC. I was going to focus on the fight, but you kind of went back to it there. If you and I think I know what you're going to say, but obviously, you were so dominant, and then there was 4 in a row, right? Was that doubt? I mean, what do you think that caused? Was it a fire went out? Were you distracted?
No.
What do you attribute that to?
People want to attribute what I do in art as distractions. It's not. They're all cohesive. Art is art. You can't tell somebody I can use today I want to use airbrush, tomorrow I want to use canvas, I want to use oil paint today. That's what I do. Music, television, all the things go together. And then fighting is so much of our life. It's such a high demand, especially when you get to the point where you're doing main events, co-main events, and title fights. The PR, the marketing is so exhaustive that if an athlete wants to play Fortnite or Call of Duty or 2K or sit up on the phone all night, or they can do that, but they're not distracted. But if I want to go create another lane, another avenue to provide for my family, and to use this platform and use exposure to do other avenues that I'm actually good at, I'm going to do it. So for me, the outside eye looking in, because they're used to someone telling them just punch or just shoot. You can't do anything else besides this. Like you told me you was a whole DJ before then. I still need to hear you.
Still a fucking DJ, bro. Still a fucking DJ. You're still doing a lot of things, and you're absolutely right.
I would say it's a distraction from this podcast, is fucking DJing. He never stops.
It is. But you're right. You got to use that platform as well to open up other endeavors. There's nothing wrong with that. All right.
I just fell out of love with it, Mike, to be honest. Yep. And it became the point. It became mature. I love winning. I love competing, and I love to prove people wrong. But proving people wrong, as you know, a lot of people were calling you out to fight a million times, and I wanted to fight you because I thought you were good, not because I thought you were sweet. Yeah. I was really confused during that period. I'm like, are y'all not watching him fight? Like, I never seen him take a deep breath in the fight. Like,
and I thought you were fucking crazy, Tyron. I thought this man's out of his mind.
No, but I like that, though. I like that. But think about, you were heavier than me, and you were a challenge. Like, think about it now.
No, I know.
What I was trying to do at that time, Bisping, everybody's doing now. Now Israel's trying to go up and fight 205, and everybody's trying to double belt up and all these different things. But I wanted to challenge myself because I wanted to be legendary. I didn't want to just be good. I wanted to be the best. And I feel like you can't say you're the best fighter when you know Georges St. Pierre is walking around. You got other champions around you that, will give you a hard challenge. Carlos Condit, when I watched his first videos, when I started breaking down the film, I forgot I was watching it to break him down. I just like, this motherfucker good. And I forgot. And I was like, oh, shit, I'm fighting him. And then it made me get into a whole different savage mode. Robbie made me get into a whole different savage mode. I really mentored Usman. I really mentored Kobe. I got the text message to prove it. Who they should fight, what they should do, and how did it feel when you was champion, and they offered me this, and what should I do, and sponsorship stuff. So I was very, hands-on with the whole division, whether people know it or not, whether it was Masvidal, whether it was, Ben, whether it was Usman, whether it was Kobe, like people for some reason have always looked to me as like almost like the liaison of being treated right for the UFC. And I've done so many contracts on a napkin, and I can't even disclose to people, but like I've done people's contracts on a fucking napkin on Snapchat, world champions in the UFC, that I did their deal for them, and they took it to somebody else that ran through and got it pushed through. But I've always been that guy behind the scenes. At that time, it wasn't a distraction, right? When people wanted you to do stuff for them, but for me, it was like I was out partying, Mike. I was living the life. I started to think that this was separate. As long as I train my ass off and I do what I'm supposed to do, whatever I do outside of my personal time, that's my time. Nobody give a fuck.
No,
right?
absolutely.
That's not right.
And you're entitled to do whatever the fuck you want outside of the octagon or the boxing ring or whatever, and chase those avenues and try and do different things, of course. With respect, Tyron, I think, and listen, you're a big man. This isn't going to offend you, but it looked like a lot of the time you're always looking for that killer shot. You know what I mean? And you were looking for that, right? No, it is hard not to, because you've got to, everyone knows about your power. That's legit. I'm not kissing your ass when I say that. Everyone knows. But I feel like that was like slightly to blame for the inactivity, because you were waiting for that huge shot. Now this is different. Now you're in boxing. You're going up against Jake Paul. He's a young kid. What is he, 23, 24? He's hungry, even though he comes from a wealthy background. What are we going to see from you, Tyron? Are you going to go out there and show the world that you still got this? You're going to put on a pace on him? You're going to look for that big shot? What is the plan? I don't mean the plan, because you don't want to talk about that. But
I know what you mean.
What do you want to achieve out of this fight? Obviously, you want to remind the world you're still one of the baddest men on the planet. But yeah, talk to me about that.
I just want to, this is a new chapter for me, and you know how the sport works. When you knock a motherfucker out and you go to the next level and you really start to get on the road, nobody going to remember those fights. To be honest, all those fights during the pandemic, all those fights during the Apex, no crowd, that's going to all become an exhibition in our life. That's not going to be remembered like the UFC 205s or the big U2 arena fights. It just can't. The fans made it. The fans made it what it was. So for me, I think what people are going to see is a continuation of what they saw against Luke without me getting caught. The pressure, the dominance, he's back. And one thing that, I agree with you. Yeah, I may have been looking for the crazy right hand, but it was also sometimes in fights where I just didn't even I wasn't even there. I'm like, what's going on? Am I losing this dude? Like, I was really having these conversations with me, but nobody was really hurting me. Nobody was really like, put me in a position where I thought they were going to knock me out. But it was like, I was just really just having a bad dream out there. And you can't just throw the right hand without using the jab. Like, I got a really, really good jab, and I never use it. I punch to the body really, really well. I've never used it in a fight. I kick. Every time I kick, somebody spins or some breaks or tears. And I never kicked. So I had so many more weapons and tools than the overhand right. But the overhand right was a punch that got me the belt. It was a punch that put a lot of people down on the canvas. Most of my memorable knockouts come from the right hand. And, the funny thing is, the coach I was working with in Miami had never seen my fights before. And he trained me. He said, I want to see your fights. I want to train you first, right? And he told me, Tyron, your left hook is your knockout punch. Your right hand's good, but your left hook is your knockout punch. And I just started laughing because I'm like, I just have the shittiest left hook ever. And I worked so much on the left hook to try to get it better so I can, trick people to think about the right hand and throw the left hook. I didn't get a chance to use it in MMA, but I'll get a chance to use it in boxing.
Talk to me a little bit about the difference between training and boxing. I mean, do you find it easier? Do you find it harder? Easier.
Way easier.
Easier, because I love it. Everybody loves to look good in shadow boxing, hit mitts and make the crack noise and punching and making people miss and hit them. And then it's one sport. Now, granted, we got the layers of the sport. You got the counter offense, the offense, the long punches, the punching as they're punching, the weaving, the rolling, the slipping, the pivots, the angles, what to do when you hurt, what you do when you got somebody else hurt. But to be honest, when you think of the MMA, we have to do those same breakdowns of wrestling, of jiu-jitsu, of kickboxing, of karate, of somebody that's really strong, somebody that's really aggressive, somebody that has great cardio. We got to really get ourselves ready for that. And what happens when that person gets corona or they freaking gets injured? We're expected to fight anybody, anytime. So after you dedicate 6 to 8 weeks to somebody, that week of the fight, you could be walking in one time they wanted me to fight Kobe. And then 3 weeks before I fought Darren Till, they said, no, it's going to be Darren Till. I'm like, I'm in Missouri, dog. At that time, I was going through a divorce. I'm like, I'm in St. Louis. I gotta have my kids at this time. I can't fly out anywhere. I got all the wrestlers I need in Missouri. That's like a wrestling country, right? I'm fighting Kobe. I got people to mimic him. Now you want to switch me to fighting Darren Till, who's 6'2", striker, completely different fighter. And all my coaches are like, I told Dana, I said, you know, Dean's on your show. Dana White looking for a fight. Like, you know, he's out of the country. And I can't grab Duke and take him from Rufus Sport and bring him to Missouri. And then they told me, you know, well, when you get done with your business, you know, you can come back and defend for the belt. Then I just got mad. I don't know why. I don't know if am I talking too much right now?
No. We love it. We love it. But here's what I want to do. Fuck Darren Till. He's a good friend of mine, so I can say that. Jake Paul. What are you going to do to Jake Paul? What round will Jake Paul fall and not get back up? Let's go viral. Let's talk some shit. Come on. Fuck Jake Paul. Fuck Logan Paul. I need you to say it, Tyron. Yeah. For the love of God, the MMA community's respect is at stake here. Please tell me that you're going to fuck this guy up.
Hey, Mike, how funny is it that I'm all of a sudden the ambassador for the MMA? I'm all of a sudden the savior, right? I was a whole bunch of things, but I was never that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what it takes to make this fight do crazy. They already projecting this pay-per-view to be nuts. Even the UFC, when they promoted the biggest pay-per-view of the year, they've never said that. How do you know it's gonna be the biggest pay-per-view? Because our fight is going to be the biggest pay-per-view. So at the end of the day, he's gonna get beat up. He's gonna get knocked out, and hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully. Because what's happening is people are gassing him up that he can win.
What round?
He accepted this fight, and I was very surprised he accepted this fight. They're gassing him up, and they're giving him that, you know, you got the power, he old, he ain't won a fight in a million years, you know what I mean? You the younger, more hungrier, he's taking you lightly, you can beat him. They lying to this kid, they gonna get him fucked up. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna beat him, I'm gonna knock him out, and hopefully it's not too bad where he don't want to do it again, because I want to take the money again. I want to rob the bank twice, so that's the plan. I really don't have smoke with his brother Logan, but shit, after you see what I do with his brother, he might want to get their ass too.
I mean, are they as big a dicks as they come off, or do you think that's just smart. An act?
No, they smart, dude. I'm gonna be real. They smart.
They are smart. I spoke with Jake Paul on a Zoom call. He was surprisingly
smart.
He
wins you over, man. He won me over a couple times randomly. I hated to admit it, but he's sharp on he's very cautious and conscious of what's going on in the MMA community, in the boxing community, and also he's cautious and conscious of his fans and what they want to see. And he always delivers. He always gives it to them. I don't know what kind of media team they got, but these motherfuckers' videos, they be out like 2 seconds later, they be out with this shit. So he's dumb as a boxer.
Certainly got better producers than we have on this show. That's a fact. Lewis, you were going to ask something?
Well, I was going to say, do you respect him as a fighter?
I respect anybody that got a body on their hands. If you got a body on your record, of course. Knockout power and wrestling defense was the only thing that would give me butterflies. When I fought against guys that everybody thought was so scary, if you didn't have the KO, one-punch KO power, and you couldn't stop me from taking you down, there would be no chance I would be scared to fight you.
What round does Jake Paul go down?
I think 3. I want to say first round sounds cocky, sounds dope, but I just know that if I'm fighting Tyron Woodley, everybody's going to tell them to cover and weather the storm, clinch him, grab him, keep him away from you, stay at distance, watch out for the right hand. I got to set a couple traps. I may need a round or 2 to set some traps, see what he responds to, and then I think 3rd round I should be able to clean up the deal.
Yeah, but on the flip side, his brother just beat Floyd Mayweather. I mean, come on, bro. His brother just. I know. Come on.
There's 30 seconds left for the rest of your life. Hey, fuck are you even saying? What did that mean for the rest of your life? Now you've achieved. Now you can go to heaven now because you got that one thing off your record. No, dog. Like he hung in there with Floyd Mayweather, and Floyd Mayweather was really boxing him. But the thing about it is, that's like me boxing Manny Pacquiao. I don't care how fast and good you are. You're not gonna just beat me up. You little. Like that's just a size thing. So are you gonna be working with Floyd? I saw that he offered to train you. Yeah. He offered to train me. You got to take advantage of that. I mean, even if he just gives you 2 or 3 gems, those are gems that he don't give most people, and people just gotta kind of watch him and try to figure out what he's doing. And is it you know in MMA and really any high level sport, it's all the drilling. You can watch somebody do a Superman punch, but if you don't drill it a million times, you're not gonna be very good at it. You're gonna just jump in the air and get hit like who was that? Somebody in Affliction a long time ago doing that jumping punch, he got knocked out in midair. But that's
Andre Arlovski.
Oh yeah, got knocked out in midair. And I think that's what can happen. So I think for me, it's just the drills. Like I reached out to Mike Tyson, and I want to just do the drills. I want to see the drill that turns you into the animal that we watch. I don't want you to just show me how to box. He may not be a great boxing coach, but he'll never forget those drills. They're forever tattooed in his mind. Forever he'll remember those drills.
We'll let you go on this, Tyron, and we really appreciate you joining us. So you're in LA, you're working on some rap stuff. What's going on with the music side of things?
Yeah, I got some shit with my dog Hitmaker. Hitmaker's she just won over 70 million records, 8 billion streams as a producer, songwriter. He's the most highly touted out person right now in music. And they reached out to me to do music, so of course I'm gonna do that. So Hitmaker and Krishan, I did a couple songs with them. We're gonna try to use it as soundtrack for the build-up for this fight. We've already done it, so for all the fans that's watching this, these are songs that are completed. Even though I don't give a fuck what you think, but just so you know, these songs are completed, and we're just trying to basically strategize the rollout, how we're gonna do them, and that's kind of what I'm working on today. And then I'm working on a new EP, so I got like a 7-song EP. I'm gonna drop my first solo project, and then I'm gonna just have fun, just talk about life. I got a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? I've been rich, I've been broke, I've been poor, I've been evicted. I bought a fucking house in cash. I saw an interview you did where you were talking about how you got kind of wrapped up in the spending the money and the lavish lifestyle. And you were saying, oh, you saw these Rolexes and you couldn't figure out which one to buy. So fuck it, you bought them all. How are things now, Tyron? I'm good. People misunderstood what I said. They thought I was broke. I made too much money to be broke. What I was saying was that people that was around me, I was buying people cars, and it's my mother. I bought my mother a car and a house. Of course, I'm doing that for my mom. But there's other people that may not have deserved it, that didn't appreciate it. That when I needed them and they came back around, they were just enjoying the benefits of my hard work. They were never paying for a meal, always going out to the best clubs, always in VIP. You know what I mean? So that's what I was saying. People really misunderstood what I was.
You got a phone call, I think.
You don't give it attention. You don't give it legs, and you really just go out there and you do your thing. And that's what I did. So people misunderstood what I was saying. I'm just saying that I'm wiser now. I didn't say I was broke.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I wasn't saying you were.
No. A lot of people were though. That's what I'm saying. That's what people. They was.
Hey, but that does happen though, Tyron. It does happen, as you know, man. It's a tough business. You're in this, and you got money fucking coming in. You think it's gonna come in forever. That's why I'm happy for you, man. When I found out about this, Tyron, seriously, I'm not saying it because you're on here. I was so happy for you because you deserve it. You've put your work in, you put your time in. You're a long-time world champion, and you deserve this opportunity. So I'm looking forward to the fight. Hope it does fucking ridiculous numbers, Tyron. I really do. And one last time, for the love of God, please knock this motherfucker out. Let's go.
Bisping, you ain't never asked me for nothing in your life, my man. But I can tell you one thing. I don't know when your birthday is, but this kid's getting his ass whooped and get knocked out.
That'll do me. Perfect. And one more time, what is the date of the fight?
Right now, we're looking at August 28th. It could be some scheduling conflicts with some other boxing events. Okay. So we're looking late August right now.
Sounds good. All right. Well, listen, all the best in the rest of the camp, Tyron. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it, buddy. Good to talk to you. And we'll do this again soon if that's okay with you. Take care.
All right. Sound good. Appreciate it.
All right,
thanks,
man.
Tyron.
All the best.
Right. Peace out, guys.
There he is. Tyron
Woodley. Love it. Very cool.
Yeah.
I like Tyron.
No, me too. He's a great guy, very articulate. You know, he's always got a lot to say, so he's a good interview. No, I do mean what I said. I am so happy for him. You know, this is a big opportunity, and if it does the numbers that he's projected, then they're all going to make a shit ton of money, and he fucking deserves it.
You know what I've noticed with both Jake and Logan? I feel like each one of them sort of feed the other one, right? So Jake's hype is feeding Logan's hype for the Mayweather fight, and that's now feeding the hype for this, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. I think each fight is going to do better than the previous one, and they're as brothers, they're just going to keep on going up and up and up until they get knocked out. And then, honestly, even when they get knocked out, people are going to like it and they're going to want to see them come back. They're going to make a lot of money in combat sports over the next couple of years.
They're still going to do very, very well. Okay, so thanks again to Tyron and thanks to Paul Craig. We still got lots of things to talk about. We've got fights this weekend. We got lots of news.
All right, real quick, if you love the show, you know how you can support us. Go to our iTunes and subscribe. You can leave us a nice little rating, 5-star rating, positive review. We love the great reviews. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Hit the notification button. Get notification every time we have a show that goes live, plus clips from the show, special interview segments as well, some exclusive stuff. Also, if you guys really love the show, you can get the entire on-demand library, every episode of the show that we've ever done, all ad-free, all uncensored, all in one place. GasDigitalNetwork.com is the website. Use that promo code BYM. Get a 7-day free trial. Live shows coming up. myticket.co.uk.
Wow, Jesus Christ. Are we going to have this every single time?
I did it this time.
With a pause. With a pause in between. myticket.co.uk. Okay, say it with authority. Say it with passion.
myticket.co.uk.
Okay, enough.
myticket.co.uk. Tales from the Octagon, an evening with Michael Bisping this October, coming to the UK. That's going to be in England, Scotland, Ireland as well. And I have some live shows coming up as well. Just go to lewisofskanks.com if you want to check me out in San Diego or Point Pleasant, New Jersey, Connecticut, and many, many more dates coming up.
And if you really, really love the show, you can go to bymmerch.com and buy yourself a little Devil's Avocado shirt or buy whatever you want. Take a look at the website. Still a work in progress, but they are a sale and they're going like hotcakes.
And last but not least, if you guys really, really, really want to support the show, our good friends over at Timifit, our competition has started. The Believe You Me competition has started. Go download the Timifit app. The link is in the episode description, both on YouTube and on iTunes. Just click that link and download the Timifit app and join the competition. Over $500 in prizes we're giving away this month. Literally, all you got to do is just fucking attach it. I'm in the top 50, by the way, for everybody with the amount of steps and the distance that I've gone.
No, well, good for you. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Sign up to Timifit, T-I-M-I, Timifit, get the app, and then wear a smart device or don't, and then walk around, go for a run, work out, don't be lazy, get in shape, get motivated, and get paid. Right? In the competition, there's going to be cash prizes from 1 to 5. There's going to be some merchandise thrown in there as well. But also, you get paid in Timmy Bits, which are Timmy Bits you can transfer to Ethereum or Bitcoin. So there you go. What more do you want? Get active, get fit. I mean, Lewis, you were on your way to being one of the new Victoria's Secret models. But now with the Timmy Fit, he's lost so much weight. He's all
too good looking.
You're too good looking. You're a fucking angel. They're like, no, he's too fat.
Sorry, get out.
He's too skinny. He's too in shape. Seriously, Timifit, change your life. Work out, get paid. Okay, so we got fights this weekend. We had Davey Grant and Marlon Vera on the show recently. We did that little press conference. They're fighting this weekend. That's a sensational fight card. I'm telling you, it's that's not even co-main event. That's how good the fight card is. Main event. What is the main event? I've been working on it all bloody week, so I should know this. I'm commentating it. Hold on. Main event is
Ige versus Korean Zombie. How do I know it? And I'm not even commentating it.
Because you're looking at the notes.
No, I'm not.
Dan Ige versus Korean Zombie. That's a tremendous fight card. Fight. We got Sergey Spivak taking on Alexei Oleinik, that's a good one. Obviously, Marlon Vera versus Chito. Davey Grant versus Chito Vera. And then also a good fight that's on there. I'm telling you, this is Julian Erosa. Hold on, let me bring up the fight card. Julian Erosa, who's he fighting? Song Woo Choi. You won't have heard of these guys probably, but I'm telling you, both of these guys can fucking fight. Julian Erosa and Song Woo Choi, I'm telling you, that's my pick for fight of the night at the weekend. They're both incredible. They both bring it every single fucking time. It's going to be a good fight card. Plus, you got me, you got John Anik, you got Dominic Cruz. What more do you want, Lewis?
What more do you want? I mean, very excited to watch the fights this weekend. You can't do picks, obviously, for this.
I can't. But Davey Grant versus Marlon Vera. Who you got?
Oh, don't make me pick. They're both friends of the show. I mean, if I got to pick one,
I'm gonna tell them who you pick.
I don't want to pick one because I like them both.
Get off the fence. You can't sit on that fence. Harrington, who wins?
Chito Vera in 2.
Okay.
Wow.
Lewis.
Davey Grant. Poor Davey.
No, poor Davey. Davey's awesome. Davey's doing well. Davey's knocking people out. Davey's getting 50 grand bonuses every time he steps in there.
Davey's got an Italian restaurant we can go to. He's fine.
Cavello's. Yes, Harrington.
Devil's avocado. I do think he wins fight of the night. I think these guys are going to put on an absolute war over 2 rounds, but I do think that,
So you're saying, in other words, you're saying that Bisping's wrong. Okay,
yeah, when I said Julian and Rosa and Song Woo Choi, shame on you. Okay, you're fired.
I'm saying I want Davey and Cheeto to make 150 grand. That sounds awesome.
150 grand? What are you talking about?
75K bonus each for a fight of the night.
Have they turned that into, is that an official thing now?
Yeah.
Every fight? Oh, really? I never knew that. So it's 75 instead of 50. That's great. Good. I hope they get it. I really do.
Bisping, count all of your fight bonuses and how much you would have made, how much extra.
Retroactively, I believe the UFC owe me a few $100,000. I'll be sending in an invoice. No, let me see. All right, Harrington, it's Thursday. We've got a few topics on there. There's a few good ones. We should save them for next week. But Harrington, I'm going to regret this. But over to you. It's a Thursday. So what have you got for us?
I don't think you can regret this because you're the one who sent this to me, right? So I know this is something that you definitely want to talk about. Yesterday, it was making the rounds all over social media. Sean Strickland over at RVCA was training with a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. I believe his name is Orlando Sanchez. And he was trying some kind of a move where Strickland was going for underhooks. He caught him in some kind of quick submission. Yeah. Strickland did not take kindly to it.
Yeah, before you press play on that, because we'll play the video. Sean Strickland, as we know, good UFC fighter, been around for a while, likes to talk a lot. In fact, when we were there last week and he was there, he said to me, my friend said to me that when they watch you commentate my fights, Michael, that you don't like me. I said, well, you talk a lot of shit, Sean, just like now. Do you know what I mean? It's not that I don't like you. We've sparred together a lot. We know each other. It's not that I don't like you, but you do talk a lot of shit. Now, the guy in question, Orlando Sanchez, is a fucking gigantic man. Not the tallest, but he's very, very wide, very stocky. And he's also got very, very good jiu-jitsu. I think he runs Gracie Barra Pasadena. He was an Abu Dhabi champion. I've rolled with the guy as well. And when he gets on top of you, it's like fucking... I don't know what car Tyron Woodley was in, but it'd be easier to move that car off the top of you than what it is Orlando Sanchez. Anyway, in the video, what you'll see, what you're going to watch out for, and it is a tricky one. I mean, I get it, right? You'll see Sean Strickland lost his shit because he got annoyed. They're kind of fighting for underhooks or whatever. And then Orlando, if you got the underhook, so that's his arms under here, and he just kind of comes to the side. And what it does, it puts, it can damage the elbow, basically. And I guess the argument is that acceptable etiquette in training, right? And then we saw, Sean Strickland straight away spins around, does like a spinning back fist, and then gives him a front kick to the stomach. I was very surprised by how well Orlando took that because I thought there would have been a fight. In fact, Perillo said there was a fight, and this is what he's talking about. But yeah, go on, roll tape. And play the whole thing as well. So for the audio listeners, they're fighting for underhook. See it there? Oh, no, he went for it then, but he missed it. So look at the left arm of Sean Strickland. When he gets the underhook, Orlando with his big tree trunk, in fact, that's his nickname, the tree trunk or the oak tree or something. He goes, jump, and he snaps it to the side. There it is there.
The fuck? Why, bro? Why? Whoa. Why? Get away from me, bro. Get away. Bro, what the fuck, man? Why, dude? Why what?
You're right.
You seen that, bro. You fucking know what you did.
What happened? What happened, Mo?
You know what you fucking did.
Did what?
What you do?
What did I do?
You know what you did.
What did I do?
Did you see that shit? Did you see that shit? No, you were a fucking dick, dude.
What happened?
Like this.
No, dude, it was a fucking dick move, dude.
Dude, how the fuck is it a dick move? It's scratching.
Yeah. Anyway, it goes on for a while. I enjoy this more than the average person.
No, I enjoyed it.
I train at RVCA and I know everyone down there, so it's a little bit of drama. But the thing is, Orlando went for that a second earlier, and Sean didn't say anything. And then he did it again, and he hurt him a little bit. Now, of course, it is tricky
hyperextended the elbow.
Yeah, well, it didn't hyperextend it, but sent
that's
it to
what
the side.
That's what he ends up saying. So he goes, "You're
hyperextending it's going that way, doing what Paul Craig did to Jamahal Hill, but he just kind of torques it inwards like that. It could injure him, and especially with him having a fight coming up. Obviously, he's got his first main event, I think, against Uriah Hall. Doesn't want to get injured. And I understand Sean's point because, you want to train with good people and you want to train with people that aren't going to injure you. And that could have done. It could have really injured him, But on the flip side, unless you talk about it beforehand, I don't know who's right. I don't know who's wrong. But Sean was wrong to react like that, though, to throw a spinning back fist and then kick him in the stomach. I mean, that's fighting talk.
Fighting talk. That's fighting.
That's actually fighting.
It's fighting.
Not fighting talk. It's fighting. Yeah.
And you saw with Orlando sort of close the distance because when he actually strikes him, you see he sort of steps into him because he's like, all right, dude, well, if we're going to fight, I got to be close to you, obviously. But it was pretty interesting, pretty tense. And for the layman watching it, yeah, it was very juicy to be like, ooh, holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's certainly very juicy. Harrington, I see you with your finger up at the back, dying to get involved. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had something to add to that because I had a supporter of the show, Michael Goodfellow, reached out to me with this video asking if we were going to cover it on the show. His question, and which I thought was super duper interesting, is why is that move not used more in MMA? If guys are going for underhooks regularly, especially if you have wrestlers, that seems like a pretty easy way to thwart, a takedown attempt.
There's many things like little finer nuances and subtleties like that happen all the time that you can use in training, and you might use it in a fight here and there, but essentially, you're not going to waste too much energy with that. Like another one that you can do is someone's got the underhook here, your arm that goes over. I do this all the time. I do it all the time, and it works perfect. You put your arm over their arm, which is underhooked, and then your hand here, you put into the crevice, like the hip flexor, near the penis, let's be honest. And when you straighten do that with your arm, you're essentially doing the same thing. You're putting an arm bar on them, and you can control your opponent and turn them around. I use it all the time in takedown defense. There's a lot of these little things that happen all the time that the layman won't notice, but doing it like that, explosively like that, it is a recipe to hurt somebody. But still, I'm not sure I agree with Sean. I'm not sure I agree with Orlando, but still.
So yeah, I mean, look, I understand where Strickland is coming from, because he's like, dude, the intent there, right? What's the intent?
It's to hurt your arm. Simple as that. It's not to try and win a position.
Yeah, so I understand that, dude. And I got to sort of side with Strickland there. He's got a fight coming up. You're trying to train jiu-jitsu with this big guy who's obviously, a very specialized skill set. You want to have good training with him. But was there beef or something before that? Because I guess at one point Orlando said that Sean Strickland said that he wasn't even supposed to be training there or something.
Oh, I don't know. But Sean,
I got self-conscious because Sean Strickland was watching us train there the week before, like a bunch of buffoons.
Well, let me tell you, Orlando's been going in there for years, and Sean Strickland not so much. In fact, Sean started training there because I invited him fucking down there. Okay, half the fucking people in there I invited down there.
But this is the shirt of truth. When Bisping wears this shirt, the truth comes out.
The shirt of truth is going to come out. Simple as that. But hey, listen, this is the thing. When you're training for fights, stuff like that happens. Not all the time, but it's not uncommon. You got guys, you got alpha males, you got people that believe in themselves, you got tough guys, and you go head to head, and sometimes you meet your match, not necessarily meet your match, maybe you clash, and tempers flare. I've been there many times. The thing is, you got to be a good training partner. Simple as that. All right, Orlando shouldn't have done that. Fair play to Sean the way he acted. You know what I mean? That was ballsy. Makes you respect him. It's as simple as that. He's not going to do that again.
Yeah, fuck it. Well, good for him. Good, look, they're men. They figured it out. They're in a place where they're training, fighting constantly. Nice little.
Till Orlando pulls up with a fucking shotgun on the back of his motorbike and blows his head off. Right. Things escalate. They do. Gets out of hand. You never know. I'm trying to think of other examples like that. I remember one time Rampage in sparring. Fucking Tyson Jeffries, a guy I used to train with him, cracked him with a good shot, and then fucking Rampage went at him to kill him. And Tyson shit his pants, and he tried to get out the cage, but the cage was locked. So that fucking, when they're wrestling, they don't go through the door. And fucking Tyson Jeffries climbed over the top of the cage to get out and get after him, and Rampage is chasing him down the street. Shit happens, when you're getting ready for a fight, and certainly when you're under pressure and everything's going wrong or whatever, and then you get hit with a good shot. Things happen. Anyway, Harrington, what else?
All right. So ESPN, the worldwide leader, has released their nominations for their award show, the ESPYs. It's taking place over the summer. A couple MMA categories. MMA Fighter of the Year, Amanda Nunes nominated alongside with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Rose Namajunas, and Francis Ngannou. In addition to that, Nunes was given a nomination for Female Athlete of the Year. She's up against Naomi Osaka, who we talked about a few weeks ago, Simone Biles from gymnastics, and Breonna Stewart, former WNBA MVP and two-time champion. My question is, do you think, A, who do you think wins the MMA Fighter of the Year? And B, do you think Amanda Nunes has a shot to take Female Athlete of the Year?
I don't think she's going to get the female athlete of the year. I would love for her to get it, but just in this world that we're in right now, with what's going on with all the wokeness and everything, and Naomi Osaka, that whole thing, I think she might get it. Or that gymnast, sorry, I forgot her name. You see her everywhere right now. She's on a lot of the news channels. She's doing fantastic things, and her achievements are fantastic. And what she can do, what she can fucking do.
Is that the little girl?
Body.
We watched it on the news the other day in slow motion. It was wild. Yeah.
Her. What she can do is unreal. So unfortunately for Nunes, the only reason why she might not is that she's got some really, really solid competition this year.
I think Nunes would fuck that girl up.
No, for sure. But they're not going to fight. You stick them on a trampoline? What's she called? Harrington? What's her name? The other one, the gymnast?
Simone Biles.
I think you put them on a trampoline.
Who?
Sorry.
Simone
Biles.
Oh, yeah. You put Simone Biles and Amanda Nunes on a trampoline. There's only one winner. Okay, the lioness is going to get fucked up.
Amanda can still punch and kick. I think you'd be on a trampoline all day.
I'd still take Simone. She's going to fucking zip up all over the place. Shum. Amanda Nunes is going to be throwing at fresh air. She was like, oh my God, where'd you go? And Simone's just going to be bouncing all over the place. On the flip side, Naomi Osaka will be in the corner sulking, not talking to anybody.
Who was nominated for MMA Fighter of the Year?
John Jones. No. What? Francis Ngannou. Rose Namajunas. Amanda Nunes.
Khabib.
Habib's going to get it. Habib's going to get it. Just out of respect and leaving the sport, I would have thought. MMA Fighter of the Year. I mean, I don't have their records in front of me. Ngannou had a good year, knocked out Dos Santos, knocked out Rosenstruik, and then someone else, I think. Rose Namajunas. I mean, she became the champion, but that was this year. Had a good year last year, but still, I don't know. We'll see. What have we got, Harrington? What else?
All right, let's see here. Okay, this is kind of fun fight booking. Couple of them over the weekend. Michael Chiesa is going to fight Vicente Luque at UFC 256, and Curtis Blades is going to fight Jairzinho Rosenstrike at UFC 266. Yeah, I think both of those are pretty fun fights. My question: which one are you more excited for?
I mean, I like the heavyweights, especially when they're good. Curtis Blades is great. He's such a great fighter. He can wrestle like a motherfucker. He's got heavy hands. He just got clipped off Derek Lewis last time. He went up against one of the hardest hitting guys the sport's ever seen, and he got caught with a perfect uppercut in the second round. I think he's going to come back. He's going to look great. On the flip side, Jairzinho, same thing, knockout artist, big heavy hands. We saw him a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, I like that one. Chiesa is awesome. Vicente Luque is great as well. But the heavyweights always kind of steal it for me.
Yeah. Yeah, high-level heavyweights, especially, top 10 guys, top 5 guys that are, have title implications that are right there. Yeah, for sure, dude. That's going to be a crazy fight.
For Chiesa, though, this is a big fight for Michael Chiesa. If he can beat Vicente Luque, I mean, Chiesa is slowly but surely, he's climbing up the rankings. He's doing it, kind of not in the shadows, but, you don't have all this big song and dance around him. But he's still...
nobody's talking about Chiesa like that, but he's like a dark horse of the division, right?
He beat Carlos Condit, beat Diego Sanchez, beat Rafael Dos Anjos, beat Neil Magny. Harrington, with the look on your face that makes me want to slap you. What do you want? I'm in the zone. I'm in the role. I'm talking Chiesa. You got your finger up. It better be fucking good.
This better be fucking great, Harrington.
Go on.
One person who is talking about Michael Chiesa, current division champion, Kamaru Usman wants to fight him.
I always think well, sorry, Bisping. I was going to say, I almost feel like he said that to just disrespect other people in the division that he didn't want to fight.
No, for sure. He's just doing that to piss everyone else off, because there's Leon Edwards dying for a title shot. Colby Covington, by all accounts, that fight is happening. There's other people there, but he's just saying that just to troll everyone. I don't know if he is or isn't, but if he is, it's working well. But Chiesa, if he beats Vicente Luque, will be on a 5-fight win streak. Tough fight, though, stylistically for Chiesa. Chiesa, as we know, loves to clinch. Very, very good ground game. If he gets you down, by the way, his wrestling is really good. He'll get the clinch. He'll get the takedown. Look what he did to Dos Anjos. Controlled him the entire time. But Vicente is a good grappler as well, so it's a tough fight. Chiesa's going to have to work on his striking. I don't think the grappling alone will get that one done. But yeah, very, very good. Harrington, will give you one last chance to redeem yourself, because so far I'm not impressed.
I didn't think I needed. I think it's been a great show. But all right, how about this?
Yeah, we've had a great show. You've had a Poor showing, I gotta say.
As always, you guys are just picking up the slack for me, and I appreciate it. Brandon Moreno got quite a welcome back from his home gym when he got back to Mexico. Just wanted to see where this compares to you guys for other championship celebrations.
Can we get some volume? Where's the mariachi band?
It's literally that. There's a full mariachi band inside of the gym.
I was being racist and joking, but okay.
No, but where is the mariachi? Do we have sound?
Yeah, we'll get that up in just 1 second. And then if you keep scrolling through, Brian, there is a video of the flip side where you can see the mariachi band that is playing for him as he enters into the gym, welcomed by his coach there.
For the audio listeners there, Brandon Moreno walking into his gym. There's a big crowd of people. You can see the mariachi band there. You can see all his loved ones, friends, teammates.
Sorry.
Yes, Lewis.
That was going to be a bad joke. Just go. Don't worry.
Oh, no, well, okay. All right. Thanks again for interrupting. No, he's there with his friends. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, God bless him. First ever Mexican champion. It's incredible. What was the Harrington's question? How does that compare to other people's?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've seen, obviously, Francis Ngannou going back to Cameroon with the title,
Harrington
in England.
Harrington, there's no right or wrong here. You know what I mean? There's no right or wrong way to do this. The man's being honored. He's going back to his home country, a hero. Francis Ngannou went back to Cameroon and did his thing, a hero. Shevchenko back to, where is he from? Kyrgyzstan. She got the treatment there.
Jan Blachowicz.
Blachowicz, ooh, he went to the forest and dangled the rope of where he found someone hanging. What else have we had? We had some big celebrations recently. Yeah. It's great. I love to see it. It's fantastic because, a few years ago, that wasn't the case. Now it's so popular. Whenever anyone wins a big fight like that or becomes a champion or whatever, they're getting greeted at the airports. It's beautiful, man. It really is.
Yeah, it's great. Do you feel jealous, though? Because, now the UFC has become such a worldwide phenomenon, and you've had some incredible home welcomes as well. But,
I mean, I did go to the Trafford Centre, the biggest mall in the north of England, and there was, literally a line of thousands of people, and I got on the microphone and spoke to everyone and expressed how humble and grateful I was for the support, and it took many, many hours to see everyone, but I did see them. But, yeah, no, thanks for, diminishing the long way that people had in those lines, Lewis.
You never fucking mariachi band. Okay.
I didn't want a mariachi band. What is the significance? I'm fucking English. Give me roast beef, Yorkshire pudding, okay, and someone on a guitar.
Yeah. Fucking you have the Gallagher brothers.
Liam Gallagher. Yeah, that would have been good.
But they're doing mariachi music.
They were not there. The Gallagher brothers were not there. Shame on them. Shame on them indeed. How
or a mariachi band doing British classics, like Beatles tunes.
We hired them when I was on The Ultimate Fighter. What did we do? We did this prank. I'm sure I've talked about it before, but I'm telling you, as far as pranks go, and we're going to get into Adesanya because he apparently was offered the Ultimate Fighter gig. We'll talk about that next week. But when I was on The Ultimate Fighter against Jason Miller, we fucking planned it like a military operation. We got 4 fire extinguishers and we got 4 sledgehammers, and then 2 because our dressing rooms, they're next to each other with a very thin wall in between. So we got 2 sledgehammers in that wall, 2 sledgehammers on the outside wall, and we just at the same time, when all the team was in there, we made 4 holes in the walls, right? We then stuck fire extinguishers through the holes, sprayed them on. Me and Tiki, we kicked the door in, we ran in with our own fire extinguishers, did that. They were all freaking out. And then we sent in a mariachi band just to fucking add to the confusion and the madness. And I'm telling you, when it came on TV, it was the funniest thing you've ever seen because they were so pissed off. Because they were like, I'm fighting next. It was like, calm the fuck down. I don't think it's going to do you any damage. But yeah, pretty funny. Anyway, Brian, do we have any questions to close out this show?
I got one question here from Kiki. Just give me 1 second to pull that up.
Do you love me?
Hey, Bisping, Lewis, Brian, and Harrington. This is Kiki here with another question after a beautiful 5 a.m. ride. My question for you is, without telling us your game plan, Lewis, how do you think you're going to win your fight this fall? And Bisping, I have the same question for you. Do you think Lewis is stronger on the stand-up? Do you think he's stronger on the ground? Without giving away the game plan, I am curious. How do you think you're going to win? Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Kiki, thank you for the question. I hope you had a beautiful ride, and I hope you stay safe on that motorcycle behind you. Don't know if you know this, a lot of people die on motorbikes. Lewis, what's the game plan? Give the game plan away. There ain't no game plan. He's still figuring out how to throw a fucking punch.
Thanks,
go
Bisping.
on.
Thanks, Bisping. I'm not giving away the game plan, but I'm going to make it very clear that I plan on finishing this fight, and I plan on beating him in every area of the fight. And I think I think that I will be in better shape. I feel like I will be faster. I feel like I will be stronger. And I do have a very specific game plan. And I'll text you. You know what, Bisping? I'm going to text you what I think I'm going to do right now, and I want you to react to it. Why?
We'll go on then, text it to me, and I'll talk for the audio listeners once again, because this is terrible podcasting. But while we wait, no, it's not great. It's terrible. We apologize for Lewis's. And Kiki, what the fuck? Come on. Every show we're going to talk about this. I've got a multitude. I've got a call coming up very soon. So we'll have to wrap this up. So quick as you like, Lewis. Quick as you like, buddy.
I just texted it to you.
Let's take a look. Don't think that's going to happen.
Thanks, Bisping.
Do you want me to get you complacent? Do you want me to make you motivated? Because saying, "Oh yeah, easy peasy," then you're gonna rest on your laurels. And as I said, you ain't got a laurels to rest on. Okay, but if I say, "Oh, I don't think that's going to happen," it's going to be harder than that. You go, "Ooh, I got to train hard. I got to fight harder."
I know I'm going to train hard. Do you think I'm not going to train hard? I hate you.
No, I don't think you're not going to train hard, but listen, I'm playing mind games with you. You got to go out there. He's a killer, bro. He's a killer. Unless you want to go face down on the canvas, you know what I mean? Stick to that game plan. Stick to that game plan. I'm kidding, of course. That's the show. That's it, Lewis.
That's it. I love it.
That's
I thought it was a great one. Thank you to Tyron Woodley. Thank you to Paul Craig.
Paul Craig. So what a great guy he is. And of course, as you said, Tyron Woodley, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. We'll be back Monday with another show. We'll wrap up the weekend's fights. We'll get into whatever nonsense, whatever restaurant Lewis gets banned from at the weekend. And until then, be safe, be well. Lewis, anything?
That's it. Good night.